Okay, these are lantana plants, and I put the lantanas here for one reason, and you're seeing it now. The butterflies love these plants, and these are indigenous here to the south and perennial. Well, so what that means is you don't have to do anything. They're just going to grow bigger and bigger, and they'll be here next year and the year after and the year after. Butterflies are one of the most important things to have in your garden. You don't measure the success of your garden by how much nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, whatever's in your soil. This is the indication, the bio indicator that you're looking for. Right there. And I would give you more details about the importance of butterflies, but this is not the purpose of this video right now. What I wanted to do today was talk about wood chips. And there's going to be a two-part video. This part, the first part, is to talk about wood chips as a mulch. Okay, and the second part will be to talk about wood chips to create soil, or soil aggradation, mixing wood chips within the first layers of the soil. This as a mulch means it's added on top of the soil. What you are seeing here is basically wood chips that I added, maybe 3 inches here, at least on top of the soil that was here. And the soil that was here was basically what you see around. It was just grass that had been mowed for I don't know how long, but year after year after year. The first thing that I did was I tilled this whole area up to break down the grass layer, that big thick mat. Then I did some mounds, as you could see by the form here. It's like a square with all these neat little designs inside. And then I added on top the wood chip mulch. Now this is just I did this here in spring, and we're now August. Well, let me see, end of August, September 2nd actually. So it's not a lot of time in the world of wood chips. Wood chips takes years to come into full effect. Well, yeah. What you could see, I'll show you here what it looks like. Already we could see here that the wood chips are being decomposed. I don't know if we could see here the white fungi here that's in here. That's a good sign. See, that is called white rot. Basiomycetes. It's a fungi a forest fungi that decomposes wood. Its favorite food of this fungi are the small branches like these here. See these small branches? Anything smaller than, say, this finger, your index finger, if it is chipped, that is a favorite food of Basiomycetes. The wood inside of branches, small branches, is not the same as the wood inside of the stem of a tree, a log. Different chemistry, different type of lignin. One lignin is easier to break down, and basically I won't get into the chemistry here in this video. I'll do that in the next one. But these are jalapenos. See, this here has no fertilizer. I used no pesticides, no herbicides, nothing. Only a skin, a mulch, a skin of wood chips. This here was, you could see here, cantaloupe. No, yeah. And here's one. It's almost ready. See here. You could tell if a cantaloupe is ready, by the way, right here at the where it's connected. If it just comes off just like that, all right, it's ready. Okay. This is there's almost nothing left in this garden, but it was full of cucumbers, as you could kind of see here. This is the cucumber plants that I basically leave here. I leave some cucumbers too. I won't get into the reason of why I'm leaving some cucumbers like that on top. That'll be in another video. Look at all the butterflies. Can you see this? The video I'll make will talk about sacred agriculture. Look at that, you know? And the principles of sacred agriculture. So this mulch, basically, what will happen is the Basiomycetes will start to break down the wood chips, the Ramial wood chips. Okay, it's important here to remember Ramial wood chips. Ramial is the name, a scientific name given for a small branch. You know, if you could say that's a branch, that's a small branch, but you could say it's a ramial. Rami. In French we say rami is for one, and rameau with an X means for many rami. So branches are rameau, a branch is a rami. Therefore, the term ramial, small branch. There's a lot of different minerals, different types of sugars in the small branches. In the small branches, that wood, like I said, has a different type of lignin, the cellulose, hemicellulose, all that is not the same as the stem wood, the heartwood. This is why people often get confused when they talk about wood chips in a garden. They will not discriminate between the ramial wood chips and the wood chips coming from a stem. That's different. Coming from a stem, if you take logs and chip them, or you get sawdust from the mill, which is basically the stem wood that's been grinded down into a small powder. That does not have the same chemistry that will make the breakdown by the Basiomycetes into a fertile soil. It's mostly carbon. It has a very high carbon to nitrogen ratio. A small branch has a lower carbon to nitrogen ratio. For those who know a little bit more about that, why that's important. I'm not going to get, like I said, too much into chemistry here. I put in some peas here to bring in nitrogen and also to bring life. Okay, put in more flowers there. So this wood chip here as a mulch does a few things. It's first of all, it's a skin. As far as I'm concerned, there's nature always puts a skin on things, be it an animal, you know, or if you walk in the forest, there's a skin. It's the humus. And even if you don't put a mulch on top of your on your soil in your garden, you still have a mulch. The mulch is the first layers of soil on top of the soil. So what you're doing is you're mulching with soil. That's a bad idea, because those first few inches of your mulch, if it's soil, will dry up. The ultraviolets from the sun will literally sterilize everything in there. It will require a lot of water to be able to keep the roots of your plants moist, to keep that moisture in the soil. Evapotranspiration will be big and all that stuff, okay? But if you put a skin like nature wants you to do, then you're working with nature. And with these wood chips, the skin actually becomes full of life, and life is what we're looking for. Okay, here I had the three sisters: corn, squash, and peas. And right now I'm basically just I'm breaking down whatever's left here of corn biomass and putting it here on top. Then I'll add a little bit of more wood chips on top of that. This was grown, this corn here is an heirloom corn that was given to me from South American, was given to me by this woman who got it from South American natives. Okay, let's have a look here at this one. Look at that. Now see, this here I put a lot. I put maybe here a foot. And as I dig in here, I see all of that white rot, the Basiomycetes. This here I put it much thicker. It's actually cool down there, even if outside we're like at 90 something degrees. Okay, it's moist down there. Hasn't rained for a while. This here's thicker. It's going to take a while. It might take 2 years before these wood chips are converted into soil. Okay, it takes first the fungi break it down, then something eats the fungi, something eats the poo of that thing that ate the fungi, and so on and so on. Here I grew some cucuzi. These this is huge, was a huge patch. Again, I just put here 2-3 inches of wood chips and then let it there. No fertilizer, no herbicides, no insecticides, nothing. And I got so much of these squash, these from Italian, they're Italian squashes. Now what you're seeing is just I'm letting them there mature for seeds. I'm going to have buckets and buckets and buckets of seeds. These things grow like, here's the vine. These things grow about a foot a day. And here's a little fruit here that's starting off. And you could eat the leaves, you could chop up the stems, and you could eat the squash. This thing is so generous. I think everybody should grow it. I had here okra, which is going to seed. Okay, I'm always keeping my seeds. Okay, it's an important part. Plants, the plant world needs to go to seed. Look at how big these are. You know, I had so much okra. I had to come here every single day to harvest them, buckets of it. I fermented them. Read up on wild fermentation. If you take small okra like this size here, okay, and you ferment that in a salt brine, it is delicious. It's like those kosher pickles there, but it's okra. Okay, here I haven't planted anything. I basically just did these beds not so long ago. See, I made a spiral here. Playing with forms, geometry is another thing important to do that I'll talk about when in my video about sacred agriculture. Nature doesn't really work in straight lines. It has curves and swirls, and there are, if you read up on sacred geometry, there's a whole branch out there that studies this kind of thing. I'm going to end this section and I'm going to bring you over to the other side of this homestead to show you how I'm preparing some beds that are going to be like these ones, the second technique of mulching. This is a nice little circle within a circle that was going to be my herb garden. That was rosemary. This is a lemon balm, some mint got here, basil. This is one plant of basil, okay? See? And it has produced so much, and it's still producing a lot. If you don't know about basil, you don't harvest leaves like, you don't pull leaves when you want to eat basil. You look at it, and like for example here, I don't know if we could see here, but at the right here, there's like on both sides of the stem there are two little buds that seem to are producing two leaves on each side. Well, if I cut here this top off like that, those two little buds there will fork out and create two more tops like this. And so if you keep doing that, you get your branching out your basil, and you will get so much basil out of one plant. It's ridiculous. If you don't do that, you get a spindly plant, and you don't get much. You have to plant a lot of basil to be able to provide for one family. Okay, stevia. Stevia is an alternative to sugar. It is sweet. This thing, whoa. You could you just make yourself, you infuse water with this here, and that water is like very, very sweet. You could put it in your lemonade. You can make lemonade. I put lemon balm, mint, and I make this amazing little this drink that's refreshing. Look at this. This is one basil plant, and this here was grown in soil that has never had any fertilizer, nothing in it, just that skin of wood chips and we can't see it right now, but when at first it went through this phase where basically there were so many bugs in here, I would just move this around, and there were, look at the white rot. It was like coming out. Bugs were just crawling all over the place. Hundreds and thousands of bugs. Coleopters, arthropods, they were just everywhere. Now can you imagine hundreds of thousands of these little insects pooing inside of these wood chips? That poo is that's what is the nutrients, okay? Look at this here. This started off as small little tiny little plant, okay? Lemongrass. Look at that, growing in wood chips. This is only a few months of wood chip, of the impact of wood chip, this garden will become more and more fertile. For the next 5 years, it will just increase in fertility, increase in organic soil, organic matter, increase, and all along it requires very little watering. And no input whatsoever. You don't need compost. You don't need to add compost. You don't need to add fertilizers. You don't need to add anything to this. Especially if what you do is once you've harvested your plants, like these cucumbers here, you just leave the plants on top. Okay, this becomes your compost pile. And just keep adding. When I cut the grass, I'll add some of the clippings. Just keep putting stuff on top. No need to fertilizer. Okay, here's a nice little jalapeno plant. These are amazing. Like, I ferment again. I love to ferment food because sometimes you harvest so much of this stuff. Here, let me take it off here. See, look, they're so beautiful. They're like shiny, and I ferment these here. So what happens is that rather than having all these jalapenos that go bad, once they're fermented, they'll keep for 6 to 8 months, you know, and then we have some for almost all year for cooking. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you on the other side.